YouTube will recommend my content. I can lower the resolution, but the biggest problem with that is it's not going to be watchable. Because at 720p it's okay, but if I drop it down to 480p, it's going to be unbearable for people. It's going to be so pixelated, because I tried 480p before, and 480p on the YOLO box stinks. The sad part is, like 720p, it doesn't take that much bandwidth. So I'm not getting any kind of bandwidth out here. Alright, so give me a second while I go back and I gotta go back and change the settings again on my stream. Omar, yeah. So out here, Bradenton Motorsports Park, the internet service providers, they have really bad service out here. Like, I'm battling between 2 to 3 bars right now of 4G LTE. Gotta get Brother Kyle, go or blow. No, actually, Omar, Verizon is worse out here. I used to have Verizon, and I could barely get 3 bars of 4G LTE out here. What needs to happen is all these internet service providers, they need to upgrade their cell towers out here. They're still running cell towers that are meant for like 3G. And they expect all the devices that are running 4G to connect to it. And not to mention the fact that bandwidth is even an issue. We have a lot of smart people in technology, but we still haven't figured out the bandwidth issue. Yeah, 5G. Yeah, the problem is everybody advertises 5G out here, but I rarely get 5G. I think I said it in the other stream, or one of the other streams prior to this one, where in Tampa, the only place where I get 5G is at the airport. Like nowhere else will I ever find 5G. Well, actually, I wouldn't say never, but I think there's one place in in Brandon, by the Best Buy. I'll get 1 bar of 5G, and then it'll alternate between 4G and 5G. But you'll never get true 5G out here. And I'm saving up for a power generator, so I can power up Starlink, because that's pretty much the only other option is Starlink. Well, the only other option that's feasible, right? Because I can spend $1,000 a day for a satellite, right? Personal satellite, but yeah, that's way too expensive. Oh, New York? Yeah, because you guys have a lot of people that are demanding it. Here in Florida, it's a second thought. They're like, you know, all the internet service providers are saying, look at all the weather that's down there. Is it really worth to put the infrastructure up? Especially all the hurricanes, all the tropical storms that come through. Mother Nature loves showing us some love here in a couple of months. And it looks like the tenant is coming back, and the tractor is sweeping up. Nicole Ray, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I used to have Starlink out here a few months back. It was a bit sketchy too. Like it had like a 90, it's like 95, 96% uptime. And the downtime was the worst part about the downtime was like it was like in the afternoon when there was downtime. And that's probably because there's a lot of internet traffic during that time. And plus down here, all the satellites that you connect to, it's in Miami or Atlanta. Those are the primary satellites that I saw that I was connecting to on Starlink. But now that Elon has been sending out a lot of satellites, I think by the time I get the Jackery 2000, I think by then we should be like golden. You're watching Danger Ranger 2? Is that, where is that being held? Is that, that's not being held at the Freedom Factory, is it? Or is that at Bristol? Yeah, because if it was at the Freedom Factory, we would hear it right now.
That's not all of it. Hey, that's not all of it either.
Hey, let's zoom in. This is what's left of the Honda.
Don't race Hondas, kids. Don't race Hondas.
So his motor went bye-bye. By Anchor 555? Actually, I need to look that up. I've never... I like Anchor for like their battery banks, but I don't know if I would trust them with something like a portable power generator. Yep, I'm dying inside too. Yes, sir. I have a Honda motor in my MR2. But one day we're gonna get a raised cam Hemi with the F4 Pro Charger, Turbo 400, and slap that in a Cybertruck and squat that bad boy. It's done. All right, I'm gonna go back on mute and you will hear the announcer.
Is done. We are back to racing. Ray Rios and Carlos Olivia. Olivia right side, number 10 qualifier. Ray Rios left side, number 3 qualifier. Higher qualified car left side of the racetrack gets the whole shot. Olivia. The upset happens right hand side. 805 beating the 817. Ray Rios, the number 3 qualifier, is on the trailer. He got the better reaction time by 0.04 of a second. Led him all the way to the 1,000-foot mark. And then Carlos Olivia, 805 at 189 miles an hour, gets around him by 0.08 of a second to pick up the win. Ray Rios, the number 3 qualifier, led at every incremental until the 1,000-foot mark. At that point, Carlos Olivia was ahead by a mere 0.02 of a second, and then extended it out the back door with 7 more miles an hour and over a 10th better elapsed time. So your number 3 qualifier is out to the number 10 qualifier.
Or rock, paper, scissors. Just 2 out there.
Pair coming up, Juan Fregoria and Labib Sad. Sad in the Jokey Racing. Honda out of Bradenton, Florida, left-hand side. Your number 9 qualifier, 869 at 155, will face your number 4 qualifier, Juan Fregoria out of League City, Texas. The J&J Raceworks operation, 99 model Civic, the orange and black car right side. 806 with a 3 at 189. So favorite car right side, underdog left side. Right side gets the whole shot, Juan out in front. This is going to be a good one as they stay glued together, but Juan gets in front and goes 814 at 186. They stayed side by side with each other through the 330 mark. And then Sad had trouble and had to lift just after the 8th mile mark. And Juan gets around him 814 at 186. The number 4 qualifier will survive to the 2nd round. At this time, I will take induction performance modified. Induction performance modified to the lanes, please. Induction performance modified. Induction performance modified to the lanes, please. Our next pair to the starting line. Will be our number 2 qualifier against our number 11 qualifier. Number 2 qualifier, right-hand side, Dennis Navarez. The 316 speed-based 2000 model Civic out of Tampa, Florida. One of 2 cars to run in the 7s in the extreme front-wheel drive category, 799.7 at 182. He will face Wilson Tavares. Tavares, the final car on the qualifying sheet, your number 11 qualifier, but not a bad time out of him, 884 at 157 for the red Honda left side. So the Kissimmee-based Civic left side. The ultimate underdog, your number 11 qualifier, the slowest car in the field at 884, will race the second quickest car, number 2 qualifier, right side of the racetrack. Right side is staged. Left side is staged. Off the starting line. Dennis Navarez with the whole shot right side. Navarez starts to pull away. The number 2 qualifier will get the win here. 809 at 173, 866 at 153. The improved pass for Wilson Tavares left side, but to no avail. Dennis got the whole shot and led him in every increment. Dennis Navarez, number 2 qualifier, goes to the next round. Bella, number 5 versus number 8, but Robert not showing due to problems. So Jason Bella out of Ruskin, Florida will get the benefit of the opponent broke single. Now you notice he didn't do a burnout, so more than likely he is just going to light the tree under power, take the green light, and save the parts and pieces. And that is exactly it. So Jason Bella will slowly roll down the racetrack to save the parts and pieces for round number 2. So your number 5 qualifier will move on. Again, that's all you need to do on an opponent broke single or a competition single. All you have to do is take the tree under power. The car cannot be pushed. The driver actually has to start it and move it to the tree under his own power. This is Victor Alvarez, your number 1 qualifier in the BC backed Honda, and he will do the same thing. He will just take the tree under power. And he will also save the wear and tear parts and pieces. So your number 1, 2, 4, and 5 qualifiers will move on to round number 2. Number 3 was upset. And round number 1 is now complete. So we will move on to round number 2, our index class cars in the lanes. Once again, I'm looking for modified. Modified lanes 11 and 12, please. Modified. Modified lanes 11 and 12, please. I also need brawlers versus 3/4. Brawlers versus Tres Cuatro. Lanes 13 and 14, please. Brawlers versus Tres Cuatro. Lanes 13 and 14. So we will move to the O&J Performance 1050 Index class next. Round number 2. The class now on a ladder. Ready? Enter round number 1. comes our first pair in 10:50, round number 2, brought to us by O&J Performance. This is Jose Gonzalez and Jesse Christopher. Christopher in the purple Honda right side out of St. Petersburg, Florida, 95 Civic. Left side is Jose Gonzalez out of Pennsylvania, 99 Civic. And they leave the starting line together. Left side has a shift problem and will pull over to the side. That's exactly what we would ask you to do if you have trouble, to pull over to the side. And Jesse Christopher will get the benefit. He will go to round number 3 with a 13-14. And Jose Gonzalez, a tough break for him as he suffers breakage. But again, as soon as he noticed it, he immediately pulled over by the wall and stopped. And that's exactly what you should do. So in case the car is having parts and pieces come out of it and or fluid, it keeps it contained to a smaller area, and the cleanup will happen a lot faster. So Johnny, unfortunately, we know that he did not get the win line there, but we do appreciate him pulling over to the side. That's a win in our book. It'll help us get back underway a lot faster. So we appreciate that. good. It looks like Johnny Hector out front. And he will get positive right there. He really wants to slow it down just a little bit. Right out there, he got the hold up going to 1086. Now leaves him a couple car lengths behind. Goodness, this is trying to 3-car home. That will bring us a very, very good match on Jason Ross and Ryan Jordan. A couple of people I expected in the late rounds here, and they faced each other earlier than expected. Jason Ross out of Bradenton, 67 Mustang left side. Ryan Jordan at Henry on the right-hand side. Both of them can run finish. Both of them can come to reaction. Right side is right. 53 with a 0, making a 10-7 with a 2. Ryan North gets around the whole side of Jason Ross. Line third, 2,000 for a second. Good drag race right there. Ryan North picks up the win. Gentlemen, this is a Byron from John Enfield. And they'll let it 18 and 4-1 power to nobody. He qualified number 1. I think he's close to the index amount. 1050. Now he's going to try to go 1 second faster, 950. He takes up the Westwood down the 495, fall off Maryland, left side to get around range. 30 for 78. No, right side. Some competition. Both looking for 950 on the scoreboard. And then goes 958 and Gunner Gross on the tires. Ray Grace is not going to like that time slip. Gunner Gross goes 10.99 after the spin, and Ray Jury, this is a perfect reaction time on the wrong side by 1,000th of a second. If you try too hard and leave too soon, you get the red light, and that is an automatic disqualification. Win line goes to the opposite side. Gunner Gross will take both entries for round number 3. Once again, brawlers versus three-quarter, brawlers versus three-quarter at each down, please. Brawlers versus three-quarter. Brawlers versus three-quarter at each down. Attention to this, attention to this. I will take all-wheel drive versus DCT. All-wheel drive versus DCT, lanes 11 and 12, please. All-wheel drive versus DCT. All-wheel drive versus DCT, lanes 11 and 12 at this time. Fuel injector clinic, all-wheel drive versus DCT, lanes 11 and 12. I have all three of my induction performance modified cars. I am missing 100% of my Rollins versus Press Quadra. I need those cars. Unless they're around the bend, I just can't see them from the tower. That has been confirmed. I'm missing all of them. So I need Brawlers versus three-quarter. Brawlers versus Press Quadra. Please. Modified drivers, load up, please. Modified drivers, load up, please. Once again, all-wheel drive versus DCT. All-wheel drive versus DCT. The lanes, please, for round 2. Fuel injector clinic. All-wheel drive versus DCT, lanes 11 and 12 to be paired up for round 2. Stick shift shootout. That'll put you on standby. Stick shift shootout. I will call you next. Stick shift shootout. That'll put you on standby. I will call you next. Ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind, while you're waiting for our
to come up, please make sure that you check out LouTube TV. He is out here broadcasting the entire event as he does most races here at Bradenton Motorsports Park. Lou, thank you so much for everything you do to help bring the masses the drag racing experience here at Bradenton Motorsports Park. He is out there just past the 60-foot mark left side of the racetrack. And Lou, again, has been out here several times this year already, broadcasting everything from bracket races to heads up, as well as test and tunes that we have here on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So if you want to check it out, if you want to watch along with us from his camera angle, or tell your friends and family at home that couldn't make it here to the racetrack if they want to watch the action, to check out LouTube TV. That's LUE Tube TV on YouTube. into our next round of Induction Performance Modified. Number 3 qualifiers, ladies and gentlemen, coming up first in our only pair of the semifinal round. Jomar Gomez out of Puerto Rico, left side of the racetrack. In the Mazda RX-8, that's the gray car, your number 3 qualifier, 6:57 at 2:13. As impressive of a pass as that is, Carlos Olivio out of St. Cloud, Florida, the green car right side. Your number 1 qualifier at a 6:04 at 231 miles an hour, a half a second separate these two cars. How hard would it be for you to accept the fact that you go 6:57 at 2:13 and you get out-qualified by over half a second? So Carlos Olivio, your number 1 qualifier right side. Jomar Gomez, number 3 qualifier in the underdog left side. This is to determine who gets to go to the final round. Left side is ready. Right side rolls in. Left side gets the whole shot. Right side already around. And Carlos to the finish line. 6:04 with a 4 at 2:33. On his qualifying performance, a second miles an hour at the half track mark, ladies and gentlemen. 0 to 188 miles an hour. Carlos goes to the final. He will face your number 2 qualifier, Derek Santiago. How it should play out on paper. The number 1 and number 2 qualified cars go on opposite sides of the ladder. If they win their respective matches, the number 1 and number 2 qualified cars should race each other in the final. And that's the way we are set up here. The brand new 2023 Acura TLX sitting left-hand side for Derek Santiago, your number 2 qualifier at 6:16 at 225 miles an hour. So, Carlos Olivio has officially thrown down the gauntlet. A 6:04. That is what you're going to have to beat to get lane choice and favored role in the final. Both. Setting the wheelie bars at just the right height they want them. Santiago out of Haines City, Florida. As I mentioned earlier, your number 2 qualifier, 6:16 at 225 is what he qualified with. So he's a little over a 1/10 of a second in performance advantage behind Olivio. So Olivio against Santiago will happen. Santiago looking for lane choice. And on a good hit, 980 to the 60-foot. And he will click it early and coast to a 717 at 132. His 58 miles an hour, so he was out of it before he got to half track. Your final round will be Derek Santiago against Carlos Olivio. And Olivo will have the lane choice based on the 6:04 low ET of the meet. Once again, I need all-wheel drive versus DCT. All-wheel drive versus DCT. The lanes 11 and 12, please. All-wheel drive versus DCT. Once again, all-wheel drive versus DCT. Fuel injector clinic, all-wheel drive versus DCT. To the lanes, please. My final call for Brawler versus Tres Quattro. Brawler versus Tres Quattro. To the lanes, please, for your second round of competition. And Mills being shut off. As it looks like we do have a little bit of oil. Yeah, we have some oil coming out of the car, so thankfully that was caught in time. Kaylee Mills will not make the run here. And they will push the 68 Camaro back out of the way. Tough break there. Hopefully it's something that they can very easily fix. Attention in the pits, attention at the pits at this time. I will take the Brian Crowder stick shift shootout. BC stick shift shootout to the lanes, please. The Run BC stick shift shootout. For round number 2, I will take those cars to the lanes at this time, please. Should be 4 of you. Stick shift shootout. For semifinal round, stick shift shootout, I will take you to the lanes, please. So a little bit of cleanup work to happen here. Should not take too long. And then, as I mentioned, just a little bit of oil. And basically, on it after burnout. So, it did not get very far. So, we'll just put a little bit of cleanup work with the Van Omi. And it should be back on the way here in just a little bit.
La mía es una cascarilla más que eso. Y fue esperar un año para que te lo curaran. Ya.
All right, round number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Three-quarter for round number 2. Coming to the water box now. A pair of Mazda RX-7 will get us started here in round number 2 of Brawlers versus Tres Quattro, the three-quarter class. About as much tire as you can probably see stuffed under an RX-7 chassis, both sides of the racetrack. Harold Gomez and Gary Masonette will get us started. Masonette right-hand side, the white RX-7 out of Brandon, Florida, your number 6 qualifier. 713 at 169, not a bad pass. But then you look left side, Harold Gomez out of San Juan, Puerto Rico, your number 1 qualifier, 661 at 210. So as good as a 713 pass is, Harold Gomez has that covered by half a second in qualifying. We have already seen some upsets and eliminations here today. Will the number 1 qualifier survive, or will Gary pull the upset? Left side is ready. Right side's ready. Here we go. Off the starting line, left side has to back around him to the finish line, and the left side just gets there. Both of them off the gas. 8:04 beating an 8:41 as both cars had problems. Harold Gomez was beat off the starting line, and Gary was ahead of him until half-track when Harold just snuck around and stayed in front. What an interesting drag race. Number 1 qualifier survives and will go to round number 3. That'll bring up your number 4 qualifier against your number 3 qualifier. Good race right here, ladies and gentlemen. Rafael Fuentes and Jomar Gomez. Rafael Fuentes out of St. Cloud, Florida, the Toyota Starlet left side. Jomar Gomez out of Puerto Rico in the 81 Toyota Starlet right side. Number 4 qualifier left side. 4 qualifier was 676 with a 7. The number 3 qualifier right side for Gomez, 676 with a 6. So dead even in qualifying. 1/1000th of a second separate these two cars. Both of them went 676. Both of them went 208 miles an hour in qualifying. It's a one of them in the next round. Which one will it be? Red line left side as Rafael Fuentes tried to get the whole shot and came up red. 7 flat with a 1 at 189 for Jomar Gomez.
Gomez, and he gets the win light. The number 4 qualifier goes 15 thousandths red, trying to get the whole shot, and Fuentes goes down swinging a available effort, but unfortunately comes up 15 thousandths early. Number 3 qualifier, Jomar Gomez to the next round. Coming up here in the 72 Nissan, he upset the number 2 qualifier first round, so he gets the single here. Ryan going for the next gear and did not find it, so he will coast the remainder of the racetrack. And we'll go 12:21. That's good enough on the buy run to get him to round number 3. That will wrap up the Brawler versus Tres Quattro. Again, I have all-wheel drive versus DCT now. Stick shift shootout at each and out, please. Stick shift shootout at each and out, please. At this time, I'll also take streetcar shootout to the lanes for round 2. Streetcar shootout. Daniel Ramirez and Tony Ernest in our first pairing of DCT versus all-wheel drive. Audi right side off the starting line with the whole shot. Number 3 qualifier around him. And to the finish line, 769. His best pass of the weekend at 178 miles an hour, taking out the 833 at 174 for Tony Ernest. Tony had a big hole shot, over 0.2 of a second better on the reaction time, but Daniel Ramirez dug deep and delivered his best pass of the weekend by almost 0.2 of a second to get the win, and he will take the Honda to round number 3. Alfredo Morales and Azier Torres. Torres in the GTR, Morales in the Honda. Number 9 qualifier right side, number 6 qualifier left side by side, and the GTR pulls out the win. 737 at 191, taking out the 747 at 181. Ozzy Artura's got the whole shot and stayed in front of him the whole way down. And the GTR will pick up the wind, and he will take the Nissan to round number 3. So far, a Honda, a GTR, and our third Honda, Daniel Rodriguez, number 1 qualifier. 752 at 190 for your number 1 qualifier. He gets the single here. And unfortunately come off the starting line and the car bogged down. So he will save the parts and pieces. And Rodriguez will go to the semi-final round. So your number 1 qualifier will move on.
Alright, since they're cleaning up the track, I'll be back on the mic. And Verminator, you say you're gonna kick me in the bowels? What if one day I do get one? Oh shoot. Did my stream die again? Still didn't die. Okay, it's still good. Alright. I'm telling you, I'm gonna go get a Cybertruck, squat it, and then go to a busy intersection and do donuts. That's the trifecta. You cannot receive more hate than that. So, 13 Brew, actually, 13B, REW, Verminator, Steven, Barbecue Iguana, CO 1320, Jesus Saves Cars, Jimbo, and everybody else, thank you all for tuning in. So if you're just tuning in, there's a reason why I'm muted. It's because I want you to hear the announcer. I'm gonna try this during the bracket racing too. Because I know in the past I don't know all the drivers, so I can't really tell you who's who. Like I know the big name people, but I don't know everybody. Just kind of like here, right? Like if you were to ask me about the streetcar shootout, right? I'd probably name maybe half a dozen cars and drivers, but that's about it. But yeah, unfortunately my internet's been acting up, so I cannot walk the staging lanes. Trust me, I would love to go talk to some of these stick shift folks. I'd actually talked to Jonathan Atkins and John Rogers, but unfortunately my HDMI cord came loose, so I was not able to push the HDMI 2 button. And Jonathan Atkins, he used to own Tick Performance. He sold it to one of his employees like 2 months ago. That's what he told me. Oh, Doug P, yes. In June, I'm planning to do car interviews with people. So if you are in Central Florida and you want to interview your car, I don't care what car it is, right? Because everybody can hate whatever they want, but let's tell a story about the little people and not short people, right? What I mean is the lesser known people. Let me correct myself. But yeah, if you go to my by the About tab on my YouTube channel, about like halfway down, you'll see an email button, or if you want to just type in lutubetv@gmail.com, just shoot me an email. In June, I want to do some shoots. Oh, are you talking about PMAR Racing? Because PMAR Racing got a buy run. So No War won his matchup. What's his name again? The driver, Joel Oliveira? But No War won its match. That is the fastest four banger in the world. like the Spanish leaves. What's the difference between Santa Claus and Tiger Woods? I don't know. Santa drops after 3 hoes. Lucas R. There is no snow. I don't think there's a Starlet in the stick shift, guys. If I remember correctly. Oh wait, no, there is. There is, yeah. I'm sorry. There is that gray Starlet. Or am I thinking about a different one? I think, Jonathan, what you meant to say was they're rough around the edges. I think that's the more politically correct term or reference. Stick shift 1 is already done. If you look on the screen, we are moving into stick shift eliminations 2. Round 2. Oh, Lucas R, it's gonna be one of the previous streams. Yeah, unfortunately my internet keeps dropping and a new stream pops up. So when I go home later tonight, I'll renumber them. Or actually, yeah, I might have to re-upload it, to be honest with you. I think that's what I'll probably end up having to do is re-upload the whole entire event, minus all the downtime. GTC was your first car, Rapid? Oh, by the way, Rapid, did I tell you about my experience at Cracker Barrel? So last week after the bracket series, I went to Cracker Barrel. I ordered the sirloin sampler. I asked for medium rare steak. They gave me a well done steak. The fries were a bit cold. The chicken tenders were paper thin. But the gravy was good. The gravy and the mashed potatoes. You're welcome, James. You guys are lucky we have our first car. I walked. I hitchhiked. a professional PH. Jesus. Alright, Jesus Saves Cars. We'll put you on the mod list. There you go. Blue wrench. Let's see what you do. Oh, by the way, if you're in Central Florida, May 13th at between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. I am doing a viewer cookout. I'll live stream it too, but it's going to be for the viewers. So you guys just come out, enjoy food, come talk to each other, network. I'll bring some games too. We'll play, because last time, or the last two cookouts, we played blackjack. So we were waiting on chat, but I think there's a delay in chat, so we just started playing people's hands. .945 liter. I understand your concern, but all the other drivers and racers, they let him in. So, at the end of the day, if all the races agree to it, it's game on. And to be honest with you, even Kyle said it himself, these are heavy hitters here in the stick shift class. Like Jonathan Atkins, the fastest stick shift car, coming up here, the grub worm. Yeah, like Kyle, the only way Kyle's winning against him is if the grub worm either fouls out or breaks down. Now, if you're talking about like Helltech World Cup finals, right? I guarantee you there's going to be racers out there who are going to be like, nope, I don't want to see a single sequential transmission in stick shift classes. And that's actually one of the rules with the stick shift classes at Helltech World Cup finals, is you cannot be sequential. So that's why, if you notice, Boosted Boy Kyle hasn't gone to World Cup finals in the past, because he just can't qualify. And plus his turbo is so big for a 4-cylinder that they wouldn't allow him in the 4-cylinder classes anyways. Because you're limited to like a 73mm turbo for like the Hondas, and then if you're talking like union stroke, that's like 65mm. So Kyle has like 85. It's pretty much banned in all his classes that he can go into, except for if he goes into like the unlimited classes, where he's just going to be running like these cars right here, 6-second cars, which sometimes it just doesn't make sense to go compete with 6-second cars if you have a 7-second car. But once Boosted Boy Kyle gets that billet block in there, that's a different story, right? Because then he could potentially get into the 6s and compete with some of these guys here. It could be a neck-to-neck race. Burning bridges. Yeah, but Kyle never proclaimed that he was a professional racer, though. See, that's the thing, though. It's like a lot of people they put a image onto Kyle that shouldn't be there, right? Like he's a famous YouTuber, but he's not a pro drag racer, right? He's not a Gary Williams, right? He's not a Gary Williams or Tim Butler, right? He's not out there bracket racing, or even like a Kenny Hubbard, right? He's not one of these guys that wins a lot.